Messi. Messi. Oh, my goodness. Balotelli. Aguero. Oh, that is extraordinary. What a head, son. What a head.
Back of the net.
Hello and welcome to the Not a Pundit podcast. I'm Killian and Nate and I'm delighted to be joined by my friend and yours, Nathan Byrne. Nath, how are we doing?
I am doing well. Football comatose, but yeah, doing well. It's been a lot of football, but it's been enjoyable.
There is so much football. It's never ending. Like, I have 2 games on at the minute, and whilst that is fun, I do miss the 2 p.m. kickoffs. They were just a lovely little have your cup of tea at work and be able to have the match on in the background. Currently, as we are recording, Georgia are 2-0 up over Portugal, and it's a 1-1 so far in Turkey versus Czech Republic. There's a goal check going on as I'm talking, and Czech Republic have a red card. I'll keep updated if that happens, but by the time this goes out, it'll all be done and dusted. And somebody who might be done and dusted sooner rather than later is Gareth Southgate, Nate.
Yeah, it's dismal watching, to say the least. They've been the worst team in the Euros, which is just crazy considering the team they have.
It's insane. They have the same number of goals as Scotland.
Yeah, and like one's viewed as like the biggest failure on the planet, and the other one's like, oh yeah, we improved last night. Okay, Gareth, did you really? The lack of creativity is crazy. And I think like a big thing is when you see like someone like Kobe Mainoo coming on last night for 20 minutes and showing that bit of impact that he did, it's like, why are the other players playing that? Like, same with Cole Palmer, showing the impact. Where was that for the other 90 odd minutes? Or 70 odd minutes, sorry.
And why did you wait till the 3rd game when you have practically little to fight for and leave them still as subs to bring these guys on? Like, this should have been after the first game kind of going, hey, maybe we should just try something different. We have nothing to lose here. That was pretty bad. Let's just go for it.
Yeah.
And between the second and third game for England, so just after the Denmark one, we actually released on our socials, Not a Pundit podcast. Get us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. But we released a video where we actually proved true stats provided by UEFA that England are the most boring team. Their matches have the fewest number of attempts at goal, and that's not like just shots or shots on target or anything like that. That's just making the ball go towards an attacking position. And England had 5. At that time, the only team that had less was Scotland when they lost 5-1 to Germany. Like, it's insane. Like, they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And like, even now they've lost Foden. He's gone home to be there for the birth of his child. They're hoping now that he'll be back on Sunday. But like, Gareth Southgate is, the chickens are coming home to roost for bringing 4 or 5 attacking midfielders to play practically the same position. Like, and then whinging about not having a replacement for Calvin Phillips. I nearly had an aneurysm.
Mate, that might go down as the funniest football moment of all time. Who else on planet Earth would have turned around and gone, you know what? We don't have a replacement for Calvin Phillips. That's why we're struggling here at the Euros. It is, honestly, I think he should have been sacked on the spot for even muttering them words. Doesn't make sense.
Like, in fairness, as Ireland fans, we can kind of empathize with that. Like, we still haven't replaced Dennis Irwin.
Yeah. Like, you're not Calvin Phillips though, Killian.
No. Apparently nobody is. Not even Calvin Phillips, because he didn't bring him.
Yeah, is Calvin Phillips injured? Like,
no, he's just not playing well.
So like, yeah, mate, yeah, so, you could have brought him.
And instead, they brought the £100 million defensive midfielder who basically plays the same position.
Oh, it's comical.
In fairness, you're not the only one to think he should have been sacked on the spot. Not necessarily just for that, but let's listen to Richard Keys talking about Gareth Southgate.
So depressed. I thought that was so miserable
Would
once
you
again tonight
take
that
that
I
decision
am
now?
I am at a point whereby if I were to be able to make that decision, yes, I probably would, because I think we are going nowhere double quick. I mean, we're here to win it. That what I've seen tonight is not winning the next game, let alone this tournament.
Yeah, pretty. Like, he didn't mince his words, put it that way. And apparently he was also calling for Harry Redknapp to potentially come in to finish out the tournament. Who would you rather, Gareth Southgate or 70-something-year-old Harry Redknapp, whose last job was technical director and interim manager for Jordan?
No, like Harry Redknapp sounds a bit tempting. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he might actually score a few goals. Yeah, like, to be honest, I take anybody over Southgate. Like, I just don't understand how you have that level of talent at your fingertips and are struggling to like score more than 3 goals. Like,
Don't forget, that man was heavily linked with Man United. He could have been your day-to-day.
oh, stop! You're scaring me. Like, I put that in a group chat earlier. I was like, could you imagine Gareth Southgate was our manager? Like, like, I don't think.
You're gonna wake up in a
Yeah,
cold sweat tonight just dreaming about that.
I don't know who's gonna go near him after this. Like he's. I think I can't remember who said it, but someone said like he's playing himself out of future jobs.
To be honest, I don't think he's ever going to manage again.
Really?
I think he's going to, which he seems to be very good at. I think he's going to go up into the FA, eventually move on to the UEFA, and maybe get on some kind of FIFA board, or end up in as some kind of like advisor to a government. Because like, you put him beside Keir Starmer, I would, and I follow politics, I would struggle to tell you which one's the politician and which one's the football manager. Because at least Keir Starmer seems to like football. Like, whatever Southgate is doing, you cannot like football and keep doing that.
It's crazy. Like, it really is. Like, he's. I always struggle, and I don't know what it is. Like, when managers have such a blaring, like something so blaring happening in front of them, do they just like? Is it like blissful ignorance, or is it just they're being stubborn as they can be? Like, I really don't understand.
It
Like,
has to be stubbornness. Like,
it
no
has to be.
player has refused to play on the left wing as much as Foden did in them games, and now he's gone and gotten on a plane so he doesn't have to play on left wing. Like, play somebody else there. Like, Gordon was very good. He was a breath of fresh air when he came on, and he had 6 minutes. It felt like.
Yeah, if even like it's really bizarre. Like, to be honest, I just think he needs a rethink of that squad. I think we pointed out earlier in the tournament that there was just no balance to the side. I think
No.
that's his biggest issue is the balance throughout the team, and yeah, I think they're just gonna have to have a hard long look at themselves and see where they can find that balance. And I think Cole Palmer is probably the resolution to that.
Yeah, to be honest, I think if you were to bring him in the same position where he was trying to play Foden, you're going to have basically the same problem. It's a player that doesn't necessarily want to play there, who will see a gap when Bellingham does what Bellingham does and just runs around the pitch and creates things. And he's going to drift into there because that's where he naturally wants to be. So I think the only way to resolve this is just to drop Bellingham deeper, because like, just allow it to happen. Like,
Yeah.
and keep him in a free role. Like, maybe, like, I don't know, specifically tell Bellingham to play a little bit deeper and keep Palmer technically on the left wing, but have a second striker or something. Like, they have to in how they're playing and in the shape that they're playing. The shape isn't working because the shape is practically non-existent. Saka wasn't great in the last game, but he had been pretty good up till that, and I think he's now becoming this lightning rod for criticism when I think there's a lot bigger issues overall. Like, Gahey has been very good. I can't say much else for the rest of the defense. I thought Pickford is doing his job. Like, Pickford is, you don't have to think about him.
Yeah,
That's all you want from a goalkeeper.
It's like, to be honest, I think he's messed up on the squad selection. Like, I know I'm a United fan. People call me out in the comments, but Rashford, I think he's missing him for a bit of impact off the bench. Not even just goal scoring impact. I think just running in behind. I think that England side sort of lacks that a bit. It's all ball to feet, but I think they've sort of overlooked that aspect of the game where, you know, when there is that moment to get in behind the Slovenia, you want the Rashford there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I know what you mean. I don't necessarily agree. Like they're not playing to the players' strengths, but they do have both Ollie Watkins and Ivan Toney on the bench, and this is where I'm more confused. Is just play the players. Their players are there, like especially in that the third game. Like I I think it would have been better for the team and for Southgate to just experiment there. And if you're gonna like die by that sword, it's a disaster. But it's going to be a disaster anyway. And they managed to get a 0-0 draw against Slovenia. Like
Woohoo.
this, this is not the like these aren't giants in the pantheon of football.
Yeah.
Um, go out and try something different. Like the only reason why they're doing as good as they are, which is not very good, is based on pure and utter talent. Like if the
Yeah.
players weren't at the level that they are, like if Southgate was managing Ireland the way that he's managing England, we would be, I don't know, 90th in the world. Like there was no there's nothing you can say about him. Like he is not the same man that he was in Euro 2020. Like this is not that same team. And arguably now that he's had more of an impact on it, they've gotten much worse.
Oh, for
Like
sure. Like, I think, like that sort of up for Southgate in a way. Like I think even the England fans are coming around to like he's just not a good manager, and they've sort of been riding on the coattails of a very exciting squad. That I feel like that squad's now moved on to a position where it's gone from a young, exciting squad to a squad that is full of elite talent that needs to deliver now. And I think the difference is he can't get them to deliver.
also one of the things that was always kind of going for Southgate with that squad was he brought a lot of them through, and there was always this kind of good vibe. I don't know if it's just me, but with in the tournament, but like this, that whole good vibe seems to be gone. Like
Yeah,
there's very different body language now than there was earlier. Like maybe it was more of a media thing, but like the fact that Rice was like aghast at some people questioning their fitness, but that came from a Southgate quote. So like maybe he didn't know, but like there's a lot of this kind of
are they on the same
disjointedness
page? Yeah,
coming across, and I don't know if it's like maybe with the issues with Ben White and Steve Holland and all that, maybe this is one of these kind of staffs that you just the more time you spend with them, the less you want to spend with them,
yeah.
or is it just that it's come to its natural conclusion? And to be honest, I think it's probably more of the latter. I think it's more that he any impact that he could have had is now used up, and it's just time to shake hands. Contract's over anyway. Move on.
Call it a day. Yeah, like I don't see him staying there. Like even if he like to be honest, I think we all agreed that he was gone after this anyway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like it's now like confirmed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. No matter what, even if it has to be, it'll be taken out of his hands.
yeah,
We
like
all thought it was going to be his decision, but regardless, it's going to happen.
yeah. The good sort of sentiment is sort of gone now, in my opinion. And like I don't see him getting that back this tournament whatsoever.
Oh, absolutely not. And like one of the guys who's now being tipped to replace him is a man who we've talked a lot about over the last few months, is Lee Carsley.
Yeah, but do you actually think that is something that can happen? I don't personally.
I'd be very surprised, but I can understand the logic. I
Okay.
think the English FA are very, very unimaginative, and they're like, okay, well, it worked for Southgate. Let's try that again. It worked out pretty well, and it didn't end well, but it worked out pretty. It started pretty well. Like, they have very little to lose. But looking at from Talksport Bet the current odds, Graham Potter, our Lord and Savior, 2-1. Lee Carsley is 6-1, which actually is about the same odds that he has for the Ireland job. And the fact that he'll be now available in the next few weeks after his break clause comes in at the end of, I think it's July. Maybe there might be more Irish discussions. Eddie Howe 6-1, Pep Guardiola 8-1. I don't think it's going to happen. Jurgen Klopp 8-1. He is loving life too much to go back to England. And Maurizio Pochettino at 10-1, which I think could be worth a sneaky conversation at some stage. Now, one of the things that Carsley has gone from, like Southgate did when he was appointed, is he has a lot of players that he brought in and through the under-21s are now breaking into the England squad. Anthony Gordon, Braithwaite, Branthwaite, I should say, Cole Palmer. Like, these are all guys that he blooded into the setup and could form the spine of an England squad and not be standing out badly.
Yeah. Like, I do think one thing is that England sort of like, I think their next manager needs to be a big name, because I feel like that squad's now at a point where there's a lot of egos to deal with, you know what I mean? I think the next manager needs to be someone that's like universally respected, where I think, rightly so, Southgate would struggle to get that.
Yeah. Now, do you think that they could do with Carsley like what they did with Southgate and put him in as an interim to get through like the Nations League games? And if it works out, well, then you keep him. And if it doesn't, well, then you go for your big name and just try something different.
I don't think so, man, to be honest. Like, I just think it's just so unambitious. And I think the FA have sort of come around to realise that, we sort of have a good team. So, like, let's make the most of it, sort of thing. But then again, it's like 50-50 in terms of, do they go with that safe option? But I personally don't see it. What do you think?
The more I think about it, the more I think it could be Carsley, because I just have no faith in them actually being clever. And I don't think that job is as appealing as it maybe once was. Like, I don't think you're going to get the likes of Pochettino, because I think it's such a high risk job and a very low reward. I don't think it's the kind of team that's going to challenge for a World Cup, and that's
Okay.
going to be our next cycle. I think they might get a semi-final. They should be very happy with that. Or they're going to crash and burn or be just mediocre. So it's a very low potential win for the likes of Mauricio Pochettino, because like it's always going to carry that stigma, kind of going, oh, do you think you're finished with club football now? Are you on the way out? Are you kind of getting bored with it all? Like, if Mourinho was to take the England job, you kind of go, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he's done all he can in club football. He's happy enough. Yeah, I can kind of see that. It's not exactly where an ambitious manager is going to go. I don't think Pep would do it. I think whatever happens with Pep, I think it's going to be take a year or two out. Like, if he takes time out, it'll be definitely to the other side of the City litigation, not just the decision. So their best bet is the likes of a Potter, and if you're going to get Potter, well, you might as well have Carsley, really, because at least Carsley knows the setup, and Potter, I think, is just going to draw in unnecessary ire from England fans because they think they're better than him. And sorry to tell you, lads, you really aren't.
But is that not going to happen with Carsley? Like, the exact
Yeah,
same?
but at least they can kind of go, well, he knows the system. He's worked with these players before. Like, there's always that kind of like, oh, company man. Well, it, it's a continuation of the good parts of it. Our under-21 squad is very good, rather than bringing in, like, to be honest, I think regardless of who ends up with the top job, I think Carrick is going to be involved in the top job. I like if a Potter comes in, I think he could only come in with a Carsley as an assistant, because there's going to be that feeling now of, oh well, we need to have somebody that knows these players.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I just I don't think Carsey's a big enough name. Do you know
He's
what I mean?
not. He's not. Ultimately, he's not. Like, people won't be happy about it, but I think the FA just want something to be able to fall back on as an excuse. And it's not like it was years ago where we had these like legendary managers like Capello that came in for England, and that made sense. Didn't work out well, but it made sense. Ancelotti would kind of make sense, but he's not going to go there. He's going to go to Brazil if he's going to a national team. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
there's not these like elder statesmen that kind of go, yes, that makes sense. Um, like, they're not going to put in Claudio Ranieri.
yeah. But like, why would they, sort of thing? You know what I mean? Like, in terms of that, like, I think if a Poch was interested, they'd 100% jump at it. I think
Oh,
if a
they'd be stupid not to.
I think if a Graham Potter's interested, they jump at it. I think.
Do you?
Yes, I do. He's
Hmm.
he's he's the perfect guy, isn't he? He's Southgate 2.0 with coaching ability.
And they do seem to be kind of really pushing that whole like English thing at the minute. We want
Yeah,
English.
but I don't even think it's that to a full extent. I think
It certainly helps.
it's yeah, but I don't think it's the English part. I think it's the safe part. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, maybe we're just strapped in now that an English manager will always have to be a politician.
Could be.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, they have FA at the minute seem to have the same level of imagination as the FAI.
I won't go that
I
far.
I don't think I just don't think we're going to be uh surprised by somebody kind of. I don't think we're going to be surprised in a good way, where somebody we go, oh wow, fair play for getting that. I think it's going to be like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, yeah, I get it. I understand it. I don't agree, but I understand it. Um, but hopefully it just doesn't impact whatever hopes we in Ireland have of getting a manager. Who I have to say, if it is Willie Sagnol, he's doing a very good job here with Georgia. Still 2-0 up over Portugal, and the game is about to be finished, which will
keep
leave them
dreaming.
leave them third in the group, but on 4 points, so well placed to
What
get the third.
what what have you been thinking about some of these nations that are smaller than Ireland doing something at the Euros? Like, does it just fill you with like anger, like me? Like,
I wouldn't
how
say
have we got
anger, but
how have we
envy.
gotten to this so like how has the FAI gotten this so bad?
Yeah, like look at Croatia. The last Euros, like, they have the same population as us. Is it Slovenia that only has a
So
population of 2 million?
2 million people and they can put 11 ballers on the pitch.
Like,
Like,
and
what
and
Darcy is?
we don't have one. And what we're really doing is we're paying for the mistakes of 15, 20 years ago, because like, we had a very good generation. And I think what Slovenia have now is what we had with Robbie Keane. Like, they basically have a very good striker, a very good goalkeeper, Keane and Given. In fact, Slovenia have better, because like they have
Oh, Black
uh, like, they have Champions League level
in the Sitch,
on,
yeah.
on both the ends. Whereas we kind of had a general, some good players, but like a general Premier League standard. Yeah, it's just envy for what could have been. It's frustrating. Like, I'm delighted for them nations, because I'm like,
Oh,
yeah,
100%.
he's had a tough time.
But I'm extremely angry at the FAI that when I see that, I'm just like, how have you balls it up
Sure,
that bad?
look at Kosovo. I think Kosovo had a 110 million euro invested in their football system.
But I actually don't think there's any excuse, like, in terms of like, okay, Slovenia have bought like two top ballers on either end, but like, we've got a Premier League level goalkeeper,
Hmm.
like a very good Premier League level goalkeeper that we've seen with Liverpool, who got a lot of game time last season. We have up front, we've got Evan Ferguson, Someone needs to get him taken.
Yeah.
We've got a team there. Like, I just don't understand where the disconnect is.
I can
Well,
just
I do know where the disconnect is. It's the CEO and the managerial appointments, but
you can't necessarily totally blame the current setup because they're relatively new and they are paying for the price of the end days of John Delaney. When you're
mate,
they're not they've not
that's
helped.
ages ago.
No, but this is what I'm saying is like to have the players that we have now and the kind of infrastructure and all, they're long in place, and like this is the thing with say Kosovo putting in the money. They're not doing this to have a chance at the next World Cup. It's the next Euros and the World Cup after that. Like in international football, it's a long-term payoff, and that's where Ireland went wrong. We like Ireland did with the Celtic Tiger. Sure, we'll enjoy it while the sun is up, and no thoughts for the night that comes after. Like when you look at the nations that, like one of these nations is going to be in the final of Euro 2024. Romania, Slovenia, Netherlands, Austria, Turkey, Czech Republic, Georgia, Slovakia, Switzerland, England, or Italy. One of them will be in the final. As of even 6 years ago, most of them, I think Ireland would have said, oh yeah, we can beat them or we'll be damn near it.
But
Not one of them could be touched now.
do you know what the thing is? And I actually said this earlier and call me mad for it, but I think if Ireland's in that tournament now, we beat a lot of them currently. In
I don't
terms
think
of,
so.
I do. I just think at a tournament we would beat them. Do you know what I mean? No, that might just be delusion on my end or whatever, but I do think
I
we
think that's
can go.
rose tinted. Like just because we're great crack, Scotland proved crack does not get you results.
Well, obviously the group depends on it, but I think we get out of England's group.
Oh, for facing England, yeah.
No, but like Denmark, Slovenia, like
Is this not
Serbia.
the same Denmark that bet us, what was it, 5-0?
Yeah, but it's also the Denmark that looked absolutely shocking at the Euros. You know what I mean? Like,
But they're still the ones that qualified over us. So like,
yeah, I
I'm
get.
I'm actually very glad that we're not at this tournament because I think all these smaller nations are grinding out results, whereas they weren't before, and I think it'd be very demoralizing for a generation of our national teams. Like imagine Evan Ferguson having to carry the shame of being destroyed by Georgia in a tournament. I'd rather avoid that.
Like, but I will say this, and this is a PSA to the FAI, is this tournament has opened my eyes. Get a plan going,
Mhm.
communicate the plan to us, and get some buy-in from it. Like, it's not hard. All I want, and I'll say it now, is I want them to go, we want this manager, okay? Achievable manager. I don't, like, we can discuss play styles, whatever. This is our play style. And if this manager does not work out, we're not changing from that play style.
Yeah,
That's all I want.
Georgia
So
just won 2-0, by the way.
very good. Just so there's a vision there. You know what I mean? I don't
Like,
want to be going from a Stephen Kenny to a Steve Bruce to a do you know what I mean? Like
oh, 100%.
I don't want
I
to be
100% agree with
bouncing
you.
around the park, and I don't think it's fair on the players. Number one, I think the
Mhm.
players need to know what they're walking into day one for a long period of time. But some players won't buy into certain stuff, and then players should be moved out very quickly. Do
Yeah,
you know
you
what I mean?
can. You could. It's much easier to justify the likes of not calling up the likes of a Ryan Manning if you're kind of going, well, he doesn't fit into our system,
Yeah,
rather than I didn't vibe with him. Like look at Austria with Rangnick. Rangnick plays a very specific style of football. Like you hire him knowing that, and they've said, right, that's what we're going to do, and they've stuck to it to
yeah,
fantastic reward. Like the stank of United has put Rangnick down in people's estimations, undeservedly so, and he's proving why he is so highly regarded on the continent. And if we could find our pound shop version of that, I think it'd be amazing. I think you're 100% correct. If we can just kind of go, like, everybody is nostalgic for Italia 90. Well, what were we doing back then? We had Jack Charlton, we put him under pressure, we're going to play football the way we do,
Yeah,
and you make it work.
but I want to clarify. I'm not asking for Stephen Kenny 2.0. Like, I'm not going, all I want is beautiful football. If we have to sit with 8 players back for the next 10 years, but that's our vision and that's who we're going to recruit for, player-wise and managerial-wise, sign me up. Because you
Yeah, well,
can get...
there's a difference between playing pretty and then having somebody that has a system, I think. Because
But
I
yeah,
think,
I just want to play. I just want to play football matches to win now,
yeah,
not for my not to impress me visually. Do you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Because I think that ended up being like Kenny's safety net. And kind of going, oh, well, you can't criticize me. I'm trying to play good football. It's like, well,
Well, it turned
no,
into the
I
bat
can.
that people who hit him with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It turned it started up with a crutch, and it was what he was like. This is what we're doing. This is New Ireland. Blah blah blah. And then it turned into the crutch that people started hitting him with, and it was
yeah.
like,
Like when results weren't going his way, because oh well, it's only not going our way because we're trying to play the good football. No, well, this is where you adapt your play.
yeah, and like I'm at the point now where I feel like the FAI, although they should have lost a lot of fans in terms of like buy-in,
Mm-hmm.
they're I think they're at a very dangerous crossroad now, and I think
Yeah.
it's time that people can go and watch their national team with a bit of hope that they're going to win, and not hope that we looked good for the first 30 minutes but got whacked 5-0. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
Like
The
it's
FAI needs not only a new approach to the hiring, but a new approach to how it's handled between matches. Like this whole selling multiple matches at once
oh,
doesn't work. Stop doing it. You're charging people too much for games that they ultimately don't want to go to.
who's calling these shots like honestly, because it needs to be brought up and it needs to be discussed because that is killing Irish football.
Yeah,
That decision, I would rather have less people in attendance at a Latvia game, but a packed out Aviva for a France game. You know what I mean? Or a
yeah.
packed out Aviva for Ireland versus Austria, where people go in with a bit of belief that they're going to win.
But like,
It's
don't
like,
forget they could even get like more full stadiums. Maybe not with the amount, but bring the Irish team on tour. Bring them down the country. Novelty alone will sell tickets.
but yeah, 100%. But they're very stern on this Aviva thing. But I think they need to realize they are kicking themselves in the ass twice by doing this. You are trying to get people to buy 3 tickets that they can't commit their time to go to 3 matches in a row. Some of them aren't going to go to some of them, and then
Mm-hmm.
others aren't even going to buy the tickets. Like do you see what I mean? Where
Yeah.
if each of them were separate, people will go, "I can go to that. I'm going to buy that ticket." Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. Like, I don't understand how this gets brought up in meetings in the headquarters and go, Mark, that's a great idea. Like,
And it's not like you're getting a deal either.
like
It's full prices. You're
full
just
whack.
paying them all
What was
at
it,
once.
170 quid for, like, the Three Nations League case?
Because I know when I was growing up, the only thing I'd have sleepless nights over the Nations League, like, you know.
Like, who was 170 quid to go to Three Nations Leagues here? Like,
No,
a
like
bit of perspective.
they're really forgetting the ultimate roots of football, which it being a working class game. Like
Yeah.
they're kind of going, like, how many kids now are going to miss out on getting to see their first Ireland match because of this decision,
Oh,
which is going to impact a generation of potential footballers that we may not get now.
hey guys, if you want to sell out the Aviva and look really good, how about we, for say Ireland versus Finland, we knock the kids' tickets down to a fiver and make the adults 25. Like, I guarantee that the Aviva will be looking quite nice then. But no,
Do deals with youth clubs, like do it county by county if you have to. Bloody 200 quid in your under 10s team gets to go, the whole lot of them. Like yeah.
like they're asking people to pay 56 quid to go watch Ireland versus Finland.
Yeah.
A game that we'll probably lose to Finland, by the way. Where's the draw for people? Like,
Timu Pukki. Timu Pukki, is he not enough of a draw to you?
I actually don't understand. Like, it's mind-boggling. And I just think, like, yeah, some alarm bells, serious alarm bells need to be going on in that place. But yeah, it's just...
There is one man who may save it all, and if he was there, I would pay any money to see him live, because he's a very, very handsome man, which is Harvey Renard, who has announced that he will be leaving the French women's team at the end of the Olympics, and we're not going to get him. I'm going to get my hopes up. I'm going to have my heart broken yet again, like I always do with Mark Canham at Ireland. But just whatever he wants, whatever he wants, just give it to him. Like if he wants to have a house in Dalkey, give it to him. Just whatever it takes. Build him a penthouse in the Aviva. Like,
you know, it's not happening though.
Like, no, my heart's gonna be broken. It's fine. I've already given up on happy.
He'll end up at Georgia to replace. And
now, if that was to happen,
you know what I mean? And then George will be looking great again.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby? No.
I'm just saying, like, that's what's gonna happen. Like, yeah, it's mental. What did you think of the Roy Keane comments about his dreams to manage Ireland?
I was not surprised by it. Like, obviously, with him having conversations with Sunderland the last little while, there was a dig at Sunderland about people wanting to have a chat just for the look of it. I firmly believe that was a dig at the Sunderland management, Wansatori in particular, who made a kind of a not great comment about Keane in the most recent season of Sunderland Till I Die, where he basically said, yeah, he'd be great for Netflix, but he wouldn't be great for the team. I think that was part of that. I think I think everybody knew it's Keane's dream job. It's any Irish person's dream job, really, if you're into football. I think part of it is money, and to be honest, I think part of it as well is for somebody like Keane, the current setup seems to be looking to put too many ropes on him to try and bring him on their track, and they seem to prefer to, kind of in an England sense, they want somebody that's a little bit more politically savvy, whereas Keane would go out and say what he thinks.
I don't know what track the FAI are on, but get me on Keane's track. That's all I'll say. I would much rather have, like, get me Roy Keane tomorrow and you'll get buy-in from me. Get me Roy Keane tomorrow. Like, there's people can say what they want about Roy Keane's managerial career, but I know that guy will come in to win matches. Not to look good, he'll come in to win matches. Do you know what I mean? And he'll give everything to it. Like, he will. Like, he won't want to look a fool managing his country. Like, his ego, number one's too big for that, and his pride's too big for that.
Plus, he's never accepted mediocrity.
Like, mate, like, if there's someone that I think could come in and actually do something, it would be him. Just purely because, and I know people go, "Oh, you sound a lot like when Ollie first joined United," but I think it makes logical sense, don't you?
Yeah, and to be honest, I think my current, aside from Harvey Renard, my current first choice dream, it's not going to happen, but a man can wish, would be an Ollie and Roy Keane.
Yeah.
Double top man set up for Ireland. I think that'd be class.
Yeah, I don't think that will ever happen.
But like, that would be dream scenario, best of both worlds. But have them not as a manager and assistant, as an actual co-coaches.
Yeah, 100%. Like, to be honest, like, I'm trying to think, if Roy Keane did come in, who would be his assistant? That's what I'm trying to think. Nothing jumps out at me.
He had Tommy Coughlin, I think was his. I think it was Tommy Coughlin at Sunderland, who used to play for Ireland or had a couple of caps for the underages ones. Like, he had a good Sunderland staff, and I think some of them even went with him to Ipswich. So, like, I don't know if he can get the old band together. But other than that, does he does he go and try and put the likes of a Steve Bruce or somebody of that ilk, a Ricky Spraga,
I
getting the
don't
kind
think
of like
so.
elder statesman to kind of come in and give him a hand?
He doesn't strike me as the person that would. I
Well,
think,
he did it at Sunderland.
yeah,
He
but
brought in these kind of lads to kind of, these things I don't, like Ricky Spraga. He brought in from uh who was a coach at United at the time, and he ended up
yeah,
actually replacing him. Um, Tony Loughlin, not Tommy, Tony.
yeah, like,
Um, and also he had Bobby Saxton as well, who I think he was in and around. So like he is willing to have older guys around, and I think in the likes of an international game, it'd be great. Like, to be honest, I wouldn't have necessarily been surprised if it was to happen and for him to have Martin O'Neill as the assistant. Something a little bit like role reversal.
yeah, like, to be honest, this is what I think the FAI should do. Go to Keane. You know you're not going to have upfront all the money to get him, okay? I
Mhm,
accept that. But you go, all right, you give up the pundit gigs on live TV, but you can continue your overlap stuff, okay?
mhm,
No speaking about the direct team,
mhm.
but you can speak about football in general and what goes into that. I think you take that.
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, I wouldn't even say no to all of the live stuff. Like, just kind of go, yeah, do your meet.
I just think time wise, like,
No, but be on a deal of kind of going, listen, we're bringing you in, we're showing you the level of trust. Do your media thing as long as it doesn't interact with what you need to be doing.
yeah,
Like,
like,
do it like you're a grown up. Go and do your job, and that's where the likes of an assistant would be very important, because his assistant would then be effectively being the one going around and doing the checks. But sure, if he's commentating on a game or doing punditry on a game, he's watching the game. So
yeah,
like, who's to
like,
say he doesn't start prioritizing ones with Irish players in it?
look at Ange on ITV. Like, it makes zero sense for them to that be a stipulation for it not to be okay in the Ireland job. And I
Yeah,
think that could be something that gets it over the line with when you don't have the exact figure to get him in that job. Like, why aren't we out there trying to buy? So, like, why aren't we out there trying to get that? Like, I really don't understand.
to be honest, I think it makes too much sense to actually happen, and it's only depressing me like to continue to talk about it. So our Euro 2024 knockouts stand: Spain versus Georgia. Who will win?
Spain. Spain have been very impressive this Euro.
Yeah,
I've
I think
been very
Spain
impressed.
will, but I think Georgia will give them a good game.
Yeah.
Germany versus Denmark.
Germany batters them.
Yeah. Portugal versus Slovenia.
Portugal.
Yeah, I think it'll be a very tight result.
I think Portugal comfortably win it.
France Belgium. Connor versus Rob.
I'm gonna have to go France just to keep my hatred of Belgium up.
You got your flowers though.
Yeah, you know, I was right again. Woo.
Uh,
Um, I'd say
Becoming a habit now. Uh,
I'd say a 1-0 win France. They've been scoring goals. I don't get it.
yeah, they haven't been impressive. Like, I think they'll get results, but
I don't think they're gonna win it.
I think it's going to be a struggle for them to win it.
Yeah, they don't look good at all.
Romania, Netherlands.
Netherlands, but Netherlands did
Romania,
look. Killian, I think when it gets to knockout round, like a Netherlands beats Romania, I think just too much of a gulf there. But
I'm not sure.
I
Like,
I would agree that the Netherlands didn't look good, but I do think it's fixable. I think I think they're just lacking that one little. I watched the game and like the build up looked good. I think they're just lacking that bit of firepower. But I think if that connects, they're good.
yeah, I just don't trust Coleman to react to it.
Well, they were playing a game. They played a game the day after their last match against the fourth division German side.
But again, is that clever?
I do. I think it is.
No, the only thing is, like, Romania have topped their group, so I think it's going to be closer to a flip of a coin than it's going to be a convincing if they do win.
I think convincing.
Austria, Turkey,
Austria.
they've been very impressive, haven't they?
Yeah,
Very, very good.
but people buying into a system. Who knew that works? Jesus.
Certainly not us in Ireland. England, Slovakia.
Ooh.
Genuinely, it is an off moment. It's kind of going
like I could see it go penalties. Like I really could.
yeah.
I think England win. I just like. Oh, they've been so bad.
Yeah, I think it'll be a win. It'll be horrific to watch. I don't think it'll go to penalties, but possibly extra time. And then Switzerland, Italy.
I could see Switzerland winning it, but I do think Italy will.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I know what you mean. Where it's that kind of like on the day. Yeah, they
Italy
could just
hasn't impressed me now.
Yeah, like there's been no standout. Like, I'm loving the fact that all of the big teams have been crap.
Yeah.
Spain have been very good. They haven't been dominating. Germany have been very good, and they haven't been dominating. The 5-1 belied the rest of the game. France, failing to deceive. Portugal lost 2-0 to Georgia just now. Like, you can't say that they've been very good. They've been fine.
Have France scored a goal, or have they all been on goals? Like,
no, did Mbappe not score?
A penalty, was it?
I'm not sure if it was a penalty, but it was in the last game anyway.
I swear, most
he got one goal.
On goals.
In fairness, I think one of the top goal scorers in the competition is own goals. Also, while we're talking about goals, Lewandowski, grow up. That penalty against France, grow up. He did the stutter, which I thought was banned after 2012 when Ronaldo popularised it.
No, it's the Bruno special, pal.
No.
Yeah.
Did you see it? He stuttered.
Skippity hop.
He skibbity toileted it. He did a little stutter, and then he went close to the ball, and then did another stutter, and then he was whinging about Mike Magnon being off his line. Then the ref bought that and made him retake it, and then he got the score. Doing the stutter again. This is a 34-year-old father. That is no. Barcelona should actually dock him a week's wages. I don't care if you're a milkman. You should get a week's wages docked if you're doing that in a 5-a-side. That is not good.
It just proves his levels to penalties. Like, do you know what I mean? Some players,
and he stooped to the lowest one.
Some players, Bruno Fernandes has that aura to do the skippity hop and score 99% of the time. Other players don't, and that's fine. That's fine.
This was my understanding of the rule, though. Is you're allowed to slow down. You're allowed to do your little jump. That's fine, and that's what Bruno does. This was an actual stop and start twice, and he did the same thing on the second penalty. I don't know how it's actually allowed, because this is meant to have been stopped years ago. So it shouldn't have counted, as far as I'm concerned. France should have won, and should have been in a better place in their group.
I'm sick of penalties getting brought back for the goalkeeper being off the line. Like,
yeah, it's a joke.
A foot off the line makes zero difference, I can assure you. If you're an elite player taking a penalty, you should be slotting it in the toppest of bins there is. Like, do you know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure it's Jimmy Corcoran, who I think his family is actually from Kells, but he used to play for Preston. He was that young Irish goalkeeper. Do you remember he was one of the first people that was penalised for coming off his line? We should have known then that was going to ruin everything.
It doesn't make sense. Like, why can't you take one step? Like, what's the difference? Like, honestly, what's the difference?
Like, especially when the player is in motion. Like, they're about to kick the ball. What difference can it make then?
Oh, it's mental.
But one thing I have to say about the tournament that I have been impressed with is the semi-auto offsides. I think they've been very good.
Yeah, agreed.
Like,
I thought it was funny the one VAR slip up came from a Premier League ref.
oh, it's such a joke. Like, if that does not prove everything we've been saying, that VAR is not the problem, it's the English.
See, fans of other leagues, we are not moaning for no reason.
Yeah. You have seen it on the international stage.
There's 30 other of him that make the same mistake every week as well.
Like, genuinely, how can they be paid as much and have as much money? Like, Howard Webb is not doing it for the goodness of his heart. How can you be getting it so wrong when there's other leagues that are getting fractions of the money, doing it to a better standard?
We actually need to talk about whether it's like an on-screen thing. Like,
Are the Premier League football's version of the WWE, that they are borderline scripting it just to make it in the news every week?
Let's just say, Killian, I wouldn't be shocked if that came out.
Vince McMahon is actually
that's where we are in football right now. Like, I would not be surprised.
Oh, it's actually very, very depressing.
Funny all
Nate,
the same.
It is. It is very amusing. But Nate, that kind of brings us to the end of the group stages of the Euros. I've been enjoying it so far.
Yeah, me too.
I'm very excited for the round of 16 and the rest of the knockouts to see who will be champions of Europe.
Portugal.
I wish I had confidence in any team right now, and that's one of the reasons I'm enjoying it so much, is because any team seems like they could grind out results.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for joining me this evening.
Appreciate it.
We'll be doing more lives, so do keep an eye on our socials for when we're doing live watch-alongs and more reactionary podcasts, and they will only increase as we get deeper into the tournament. So we'll chat to you again soon.
Bye.
Messi. Oh, my goodness! Balotelli. Aguero. That is extraordinary! What a headshot! What a hit! Back of the net.